Thank you for attending our first town hall of this upcoming session. I am, as you all know, won the Senate seat, District 27. So this will be the first of many of these types of events we're going to be having in the upcoming months. Just wanted to give you a couple of ground rules and kind of tell you how the agenda is going to work. If you have any questions, we'll get to questions at the end. If you have any, please go to the chat, type your questions in there. I've got Nick and Ian, my aides, who are going to be monitoring and co-hosting the event, so they'll take care of that type of stuff. Also, they'll be posting things in the chat about some links to events that we have going on. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about. I'll give you some background on what's been going on in the office since we got in there, where things are headed, kind of some dates and some times of things moving forward, and then at the end we're going to get Nick and Ian will kind of give you a breakdown of how the campaign went and maybe some numbers and if you have any curiosity with that, and then we'll take a look to see what kind of questions you guys have, and then we'll send you guys back to watching the rest of that 49ers Seahawks game, or I think maybe a lot of people might be watching that Beauty and the Beast special that's on. So again, hey, thanks everybody for coming. We'll since election day, thanks everybody for supporting us and getting us elected. Since election day, they had some committee appointments. We've already had the opportunity to put in bill titles, start working with that. We're getting the office up and running. Many of you who were a part of and helped us out in the campaign, I just want to let you know that Nick, who was my campaign manager, and Ian, who was our field director, have transitioned now into the office, and we were able to have enough hours in the office to be able to have them both there in the office. So they'll be with us through the session on all the way into June. I went, and you saw this in if you subscribe to our newsletter. If you don't, there'll be a link up top showing you how to sign up to it. I'm confident a lot of you do sign up to our newsletter and or hear about us through other social media accounts that we have. But last week, I went to Washington, D.C. To once again be a part of the national vigil that they have for victims of gun violence. That came about after the Sandy Hook massacre. The following year, a group called the Newtown Action Alliance, what they started doing after the shooting in Sandy Hook is they started taking bus trips from Newtown. I think it's about a 5-hour bus ride, and they used to on a quarterly basis bring several bus loads of activists to Washington, and they would go through the halls of Congress and lobby the congressmen and women and the senators about. At that point in time, they were working on things like background checks, banning assault weapons, and those types of things. If you recall, there was a vote that was taken March, April of 2013 to try to have a national background check system, and that one failed, but they had been continuing to do that lobbying technique. And then each December, generally about the week before the anniversary. So somewhere around the 7th, 8th, 9th, something like that, is when they would have the national vigil. And it wasn't necessarily something just for to commemorate Newtown. It was for all victims of gun violence. And that's what's always been so impressive about the Newtown Action Alliance, is that they're inclusive of everybody. The ones that you have heard about, the ones that are on your nightly news and, on the front page of your newspapers, and the ones that you don't hear about. They're equally as inclusive to all of those people who have been impacted. This year, they actually got President Biden to come. They had been trying to get him to come when he was vice president in 2013 and 14, and had been, petitioning, certainly President Obama to come, and had never been able to make that happen. But this year he came. Also, Speaker Pelosi came and spoke to us. And they generally always get the congregation or the delegation from Connecticut. So the two state senators, Murphy and Blumenthal, are there. And then generally, I think they have three Congress people. I think they have three districts, and generally, dependent upon what other things are happening, they get all of them to come. So it was a very eventful evening to be a part of. There was also the Center for American Progress had a gun violence prevention summit that I got to attend. Had a lot of briefings and panel discussions. That was really helpful. And then Thursday, the day after, they sent us out through the halls of Congress, and I actually went to and talked to Senator Bennett about the upcoming. They're hoping to get a vote on banning assault weapons nationally. He signed on as one of the sponsors. The co-sponsors to that. They're hoping to get that done before they break for winter break, and when they come back, there'll be a new Congress with the Republicans having a 4-seat advantage. We'll still have, actually, we gained an extra seat. We'll have an advantage in the Senate, but if they can't at least get a vote between now and the end of this session, it's probably highly unlikely they'll do it the next time. So that was really a good trip to go to, and I met a lot of people who, I've been going and knew for the last 9 years. So it was good to touch base with all of them. Here at home, they came out with our committee assignments after talking over with the president and the majority leader. I got selected to be on the Business and Labor Committee. That's a 5-person committee. In the Senate, there's only 35 people, so the committees are generally smaller than what I'm used to the last 4 years. In the House, we generally had 7 or 9 people in the committees, but with the way the Senate is shaped, they're generally 5. I think sometimes there might be 7 or 9 in them, but it's very rare for that to happen. The other committee that I got put on was the state and veterans affairs, and so I actually got named as the vice chair for that seat, and I wanted to kind of share this with you as kind of in 2013, when they passed the 5 GVP bills here in Colorado, a lot of those committee hearings they had were in the Judiciary and State Affairs, and certainly in 2014 and on till 2019, there was every year there would be legislation brought up to try to repeal those 5 bills that were passed, and predominantly those were set in state affairs, either on the Senate or the House side. So when I would go with and testify in those bills, I spent a lot of time in state affairs waiting to testify for the bills to get voted on. And at that point in time, there used to be from this district, from Senate District 27 and House District 37, there used to be a Republican member on those state affairs. But then as things started to change, they took them off of those committees because a lot of kind of contentious bills tend to come up on those committees. And so there hadn't been anybody representing 27 and or 37 on state affairs until now. And it's just to show how things have changed in the 10 years that now I am on as a vice chair of a committee that I used to sit in for till 2 o'clock in the morning, waiting to testify in. And now 10 years later, I'm actually the vice chair of that committee. So things have really come around in that. The session starts on the 9th, so I think we've got less than 4 weeks for that to start. It's a 120-day session. The first week and a half is a lot of pomp and circumstance, lots of speeches and briefings and that kind of stuff. So I don't think committees and bills, discussions will happen until about week 3. We're going to put something there in the chat for if you don't know how you can link to the committees, how you can link to the Senate floor, because all of that stuff is all on online for you to watch and or listen to. So take a look there so you can kind of follow along. Always, if you have any questions about any piece of legislation that is up, you feel free to give us a call. That's the other thing, switching from the House to the Senate. Although I kept the same office, because I'm switching over to the Senate side, my phone number is going to change there at the office, and my email is going to change there at the office. So we don't have any new emails or phone numbers to report to you right now. But again, let me stress, follow along on our social media, sign up for our newsletter. We will be posting all of those changes in the newsletter. Also on our Facebook page and our Twitter account, we will have links to our changes. So that way you can follow along and know how to get in touch with the office. As far as, we're setting up the office to the point where, again, we'll have set hours where you can call, to ask questions. We're setting up meetings with lobbyists and other groups about issues that are coming up for the upcoming session and things that they have going on. Again, when we have everything set up, follow along, get that information from us, and you can follow along as well. Always look forward to hearing from people. We try to, get back to everybody as quickly as we can, and we always enjoy, passing on information that you have to the rest of the people in the district. That's one of the things I just saw in the paper. I think we're going to have it in our newsletter. There's a new coach for Purdue University. His name is Ryan Walters. He is a graduate of Grandview High School. and he was actually Alex's quarterback when Alex was playing football at Grandview, and I didn't know that he was moving on and was coaching. I guess apparently he had been at Illinois for a while, and now he's the head coach at Purdue. So, I mean, there's those kinds of stories. We always look for things about, how people in the community have been, moving on to the things that they've been doing. Let's see. I'm gonna turn things over. Nick and Ian. As I told you guys, that they were Nick was the campaign manager. Ian was our field director. So if any of you were helping out with the campaign, you probably touched base with them, and they have been scouring the information about the post-election stuff. I think they're going to have some information for us about what how it looked, where the votes were. I mean, with the new district and everything, you might have some questions about that. So if Nick and Ian are available, I will bring them up, and they will give you some post election information, and then after that we'll see if there's any questions from you, and maybe close things out. Nick.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Senator-elect Sullivan. And thank you to everyone that, voted for our campaign and helped us out, and, really got the word out about our message and, what we're trying to get accomplished on the legislature in our state. As far as the, the votes, how they shook out, total votes, we had 72,618 votes, a 66.28% turnout, which was a little bit lower than expected, actually. Yeah, and we saw actually a lower turnout when you looked at the partisan breakdown. Registered Democrats did not turn out in the numbers that we were hoping for, and actually underperformed registered Republicans as far as turnout, which means with our significant victory, Tom, he received nearly 40,000 votes, 39,861 for about 55% of the vote, so a 10-point victory, and which meant that unaffiliated independent voters, maybe some even a lot of even leaning Republican, swung very hard in our direction, which is good to see. It's clear that our priorities, the works Tom has done, is what our district wants to see, and we're looking forward to continuing on that. And that story was largely the case across the state. Yeah, I think we worked very hard. I'm very proud of the campaign we ran in classic, Tom Sullivan fashion. We had a very strong field program. We knocked 35,000 doors, a little bit over that, and called near a little over 50,000 people, getting people out to vote. And since May, Tom has been out there every day, practically, really every day, knocking doors, and proud of the hard work that he gave, and for all of our team. So yeah, that's the campaign roundup. And I think we'll field some questions now. If anyone has any questions that come to mind, please, I'll be monitoring the chat. I think we will start off, Tom, asking what you're looking forward to most in this upcoming session.
Okay, well, I mean, the one thing I'm looking forward to, and I hear this a lot, is how the Senate is different from the House, and so I am looking forward to seeing if that is true or not. You mean in difference? I mean, we know that it's different because of the smaller numbers, and that should is what they say is you have an easier time of getting to know one another. There's more of a bipartisanship, meaning people are working across the aisles on things. And sometime, and also you have to do maybe a little bit more of selling your bill ideas and the reasons why you're running something. And so that'll be interesting, to see. So kind of looking forward to for the different makeup, see how they do things a little bit differently. Also, one of the things they talk about is there's a kind of an added sense of maturity in the Senate as opposed to what there is in the House. And I'm not that the people are older. It's more so that the people are maybe a little bit more experienced and have been doing this for a little bit longer. So some of the theatrics that we might have seen on the House side, some of that kind of schoolyard type of things, maybe those don't get played out the way that they do on the House. And I would look forward to that. I'd rather just get there and get to work and do stuff and let them run their theater, their on their own time, not on our time and the time of the people of the state of Colorado.
Absolutely. I think, we have another question with your large margin of victory. Will that affect your priorities as a legislator? Sorry.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think. I mean, my priorities are all still going to be the same. I think with the larger margin is it. I think it gives some of the other people the ability to get on board with what our priorities are. Specifically, I'll talk about gun violence prevention. It's a winning issue. The people of the state of Colorado, I believe. That's what this election showed, is that if Washington D.C. and the Supreme Court have decided that a lot of the issues that impact our communities need to be taken care of at the state level. I believe that the people of Colorado said, if that's the case, we want Democrats to be doing that here in the state level, and the people here have decided that they've had enough with our gun violence problem, and they want us to do something about it. And I think we're set to do that for the next 4 years that I'm there.
Awesome. Well, we don't have any other questions. If anybody wants to pose a question, here's your chance. And I guess I'll let Tom talk about maybe wrapping it up. In the meantime, I guess we have in our chat to sign up for our newsletter, and again to track the upcoming session. And we post a newsletter every week. But I'll let you take it away, Tom.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. And thanks, Ian, for all your help with putting this together. Yeah. Our plan is to next month, we're hoping to start these live once again. And we'll I think we're looking at weekend times, because that seems to be the best. If people maybe alternated back and forth to do a weekday one, but if we were to do a weekday one, it would probably have to be a Zoom. And the only reason that we would be doing that is because it's the session. It's you can never be sure that you're going to be finished at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock on a particular day. Something can come up unexpectedly, and we can always slip out for a half-hour Zoom call, but I can't make it all the way back to the Smoky Hill Library to have a conversation with you, and then make my way back to the Capitol to get back and vote on something. So if we maybe did an alternating of a live one on a weekend, which I know we would be off, and then work something in between, like that. That's what maybe we can look on there for future ones. Some of the legislation you've seen, and I talked a lot about the problem with the event that happened down in Colorado Springs with the Club Q shooting. And we've had a lot of discussions about what we're going to do with that. Pretty certain we're going to have to be addressing the red flag bill, the extreme risk protection order. And we need to get the community to have a say in this. Actually, today I had a meeting along with Senator Coker and Representatives Froelich and Hamrick with the Arapahoe County sheriffs. Didn't get a chance to talk about where he stood on it, but he's been supportive of it. And you can see from the statistics that we post about ERPOs that Arapahoe County has been, right up there with, filing them when it's been deemed appropriate. So I think we've got his support, but we'll be moving forward with that. Also, the other piece of legislation, and I've talked about it since last year. Any of you who were following along, we're looking to raise the minimum age on the purchase of any firearms. Before, we had thought maybe it might just be with assault weapons, but I think we're the new consensus is that it's for all firearms. So we're going to raise that up to 21 as well. And then, the other issues that we always talk about, is victims' rights, veterans' rights, our workers' rights. We're always looking to protect them. And then there's lots of great things that other members are working on, and we will be partnering with them. And so, yeah, looking forward to things to get started. And again, always appreciate you following along. And Nick, anybody else got any last minute things for us?
Yeah, I think we got one question about your priorities in the first 100 days, but I think you just answered that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, first 100, yeah. I hear that. I mean, we only have 120 is the complete amount of time that we have each year. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. Going to be moving forward. It looks like their budget issues are going to be very contentious. All of the money, all of the ARP money, the federal money that we had, that's all dried up, and we're going to have to try to do more with less once again. Especially, we had a ballot initiative that lowered our tax rate, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. So we're going to have to skate our ways around, and I'm not so sure if and we have a lot of new people on our joint budget committee. I was in a joint transition committee hearing or briefing this afternoon, and they were a little concerned about that, and I hadn't thought that would be a problem, but maybe it is. I think 5 out of the 6 people, this is their first time on it, and but there's such a great staff that runs that budget committee and stuff. I think we'll be fine, but yeah, I think that's it. So hey, thanks everybody. Follow along, sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for being here tonight, and if that's it, I think we'll sign off now. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. I'll just add that our next town hall is at Smoky Hill Library, January 14th, 4 p.m. So that's a Saturday. So hope to see you there.
Oh, great. All right. Good.